Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're ready for bow season. All right, so season is just around the corner, and we got a couple things to do before we are 100% ready. The first thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna take a good look at our bow, look at the limbs. If we see any cracks, anything weird going on there, that's gonna need to get it taken into a bow shop and get looked at there. We're looking at some good limbs here. We're looking for anything frayed with the strings, make sure our serving's good, nothing gonna get in the way. Also checking out the serving all the way around these cams, make sure these cams look straight. If you haven't been shooting your bow throughout the year, I'd say that's something we should probably change, but as far as I go, I have shot this pretty recently, so I know it should be good to go. But I'll be doing this anyway, taking a good look at everything. And also making sure my arrows are straight, which I just did. You can do that by spinning them in your hand. All right, so we made sure our bow's good to go. So I'm gonna be doing this with a field point. I know that my broadheads hit with my field points, so I'm good to go. I've already tested that out. If you haven't done that yet, I highly recommend you do it. It could be showing you a lot of potential issues. If your broadheads do not hit where your field points hit, you're gonna wanna have a practice broadhead, something that you dedicate just for hitting those targets with. For me, I know that my broadheads and my field points hit at the exact same spot, so that's what we'll be using today. I've already made sure my arrow is straight, my nock is lined up correctly, so I'm good to go. Oh, one more thing with these arrows. If you're using a carbon arrow, you're gonna look and see if it's damaged, frayed in any sort of way. If you're using an aluminum arrow, you're gonna be looking to make sure it's 100% straight and not bent in any way. All right, now that we know our bow is good to go, take a look at our harness. I'm gonna be relying on this thing. Hopefully I never fall out of a tree. Knock on wood. But if I do, I want to make sure my harness is good to go. So I'm going to inspect everything on there, make sure there's nothing frayed, nothing torn, nothing broken, nothing out of place. It's good to go. And I'm going to go ahead and put this harness on. I'm going to configure it just like I would if I was going up the tree. Now I won't be able to show you guys this phone tether in use, but I highly recommend it. Clip it to your belt loop, attach it to your phone, clip it to your belt loop, attach it to your phone. You don't have to worry about that phone falling out of the tree. It's good to go. I got this one from Rogue Fishing. So yeah, I like it, it works. All right, so I'm gonna use this hang on and these climbing sticks. This is a Lone Wolf DeQuisto series 0.5, and I'm just gonna get up the tree with it, get it set in place. I'm gonna take my time. I'm not rushing in any way, shape, or form. Once I get a few feet up the tree, I'm confident that all my equipment is working just fine. I am going to pull my bow up and take a practice shot. Because after all, if we're gonna be getting ready for season, we wanna kind of simulate some of the things we'd be doing in season. No, I don't have my day pack with me since my house is 50 feet over there. Not too worried about that. Everything isn't configured exactly how it would be, but it's close enough. So this is kind of how I'd be doing things. I'm gonna angle this camera for you. Now, one thing I can tell you guys, practicing silence is good. What I'm focused on right now is trying not to clank together the metal. That's what I'm focused on most in the woods. Metal on metal. Making sounds like that, getting the attention of forest critters is not what I want to do. Now for me, I took some nylon webbing and created a double step on my first step. So if I want to get up the tree just out of that deer's eye line or that big buck's eye line, if I want to get just outside of that big buck's if I want to get just outside that big buck's line of sight, I only need a few steps. So I created this double aider on my first step. You can do this a number of ways. Some guys will actually go up the tree with this attached. I've done it in the past. For the purpose of practicing in the demonstration right now, I'm just gonna go up, set it, make sure it's set, come back down and get the next one. If you didn't notice yet, I'm doing this with the boots, or the type of boots that I would go hunting with. I'm not doing this in my tennis shoes or my flip-flops. So a lot of this is about what gets the job done, not necessarily about what looks the sexiest. So one thing I recommend is getting your sticks set the way you like them before you go up the tree. So when you get up there, it goes a lot smoother. Now with my last stick, I'm not going to purposefully place this too high out of reach. This last stick is going to be placed in a nice comfortable area, so the higher I am on the tree, it doesn't really matter. I'm not making myself any less safe by having to make any big movements or trying to reach further than my body will allow me to. One thing is, with these straps, I like to make sure they're about as flat as I can get them on the tree. All right, I'm gonna tighten it. I'm gonna take it up high, a little higher than where this button is on here. Center it in the tree. And we're gonna make sure there's no weird folds or wrinkles in the clasp portion, right? Then we're gonna pull down nice and snug. Good. One hand, two hands, nice and snug. We can head back down the tree now. Notice how I'm not rushing. I'm not trying to rush through the motions of getting up or down the tree. Look, if you came into the woods, proper planning, you get into the woods just before light, give yourself 10 minutes to get off the tree, it should be fine. If you haven't been doing this, you need more time, give yourself 20 minutes to get up the tree. Worst case scenario, you give yourself 30 minutes. You get up the tree, and now you have to wait even longer for the sun to come up. Boo-hoo, right? No big deal. All right, so last step here. I'm gonna show you guys this. So on this stand, I like to have it configured like this. That way I can get that bow up the tree really quick. So I don't have to do too much except for let this loose, attach it to the bow, and we'll be heading up the tree pretty quick. So that's what I'm gonna do. Real quick, you're gonna bring that bow up the tree. Your quiver, when you bring your bow up the tree, fletching up, all right? So that's the way I'm gonna do it. Right there. We've got our safety line that's gonna go around the tree. And all I'm gonna do is clip this right into my side here. That way we can easily grab it when we're ready to get set. All right, we've got everything we need to succeed in the tree, so it's time to start climbing. Whether you climb with one strap or two straps on your shoulders, that's up to you. I'm gonna go with one. It helps me get the stand off a little quicker. And I'm gonna do it with my left shoulder. Our bow is attached to the stand. We're not worried about anything down there. We will not need to come back down. Of course, if we have a bag, we would attach that as well. All right, I'm not gonna stand on my last step while I get this stand set up. I'm simply going to get it all attached to the tree, and then I'll be good to go. I like to use a big old bear hug method when I'm attaching my stand to the tree, which means my arms are basically hugging the tree, one or the other at all times. Notice, I don't like to place my stand so high up that I need to step on the last step of my climbing sticks. I like to place it so I can step on the second or third to last step and be good to go. If I want to get higher in the tree, I bring more sticks, and I do have more sticks. This is just my go-to setup. We're going to tighten this a little bit so it doesn't fall too much. Do the old bear hug while we bring that strap up on the tree, up on the tree. There we go. We don't want any weird interference here. We just want to make sure this thing is nice and sturdy. No straps in the way, of course. Bring it to the tree. Tighten that puppy down. Bring it up a little bit, tighten it some more. We don't want any folds or creases inside of our clamp here. We don't want any straps inside of that. So we'll put it in here like so. Place it down. All right. Now, before I make the transition into the tree stand, what I'm going to do is put my safety line around the tree. I've attached it here at my hip. I know exactly how I need to unattach it. This is something that I attached in such a way that it is not going to give me a lot of problems. Good to go. We're going to wrap this thing around the tree. Not around ourselves, around the tree. And we don't want the safety line sitting on top of the stand. We want it higher than the stand. So we're going to bring it up. We can adjust this once we get into the tree. Right there, it's adjustable once we get in the tree. But for now, that's going to keep us safe. We're going to bring the portion of our harness and attach that right into that safety line. And I'd like to keep mine a little higher. Than where the knot is, because if I fall, I'd like for this thing to tighten down real quick. Now it's time to take another step up. We're getting there now. We're just going to adjust our safety line a little higher. Bear hug method. Keep one hand around the tree. We're not trying to do anything fancy. We're trying to go slow, trying to take our time. It doesn't matter. Remember, it doesn't matter if it takes us 20 minutes to get up the tree. What matters is that we're safe when we're doing it, okay? Once again, we'll bring this line a little higher up. Now we're going to make sure our carabiner is locked before we rely on this thing for 100% safety. That's what we're going to do. Carabiner's locked. Our harness is secured. We're now going to put our arm through so that our harness is where it should be in the proper place. I'm going to take one step into my stand first. And I'm going to check. I'm going to see how it feels. Feels okay. Could it feel better? I do think it could feel better. Using that bear hug method, one hand all the way around the tree if it's a thin enough tree for you. We're going to lift the bottom part of our stand with our leg, okay, just like that. You can do it with your hand too if you need to. Push that stand down in place. If you need to step up on another step, this is another reason why we don't like to use the last step. Use our knee to put some pressure down, come back down to our comfortable step. I'm going to grab hold of this real quick because I feel my foot through that webbing, through that extra loop there. There we go. We don't want that. Now we can put this down. Once it's down, we are just going to transition into the tree. Once again, we're going to move our safety line up. And we'll put it right here. Add some tension to it. Oh yeah. Move this up a little bit. Add some tension to that so it doesn't slide easy. We don't want to be sliding, moving around in this tree. We want to feel at least somewhat comfortable. And then I'm going to move this out of the way so I can make this shot. Look, before season, you get something like this. You know your spots. You're kind of generalizing. I'm probably going to be in this tree or that tree. Look around and get these things out of the way first. Time to make a shot though. So we're going to turn around. We're making sure everything's good. We're taking our time. There's no rush here. We're getting seated in our tree stand. Look at that, feeling pretty good. I think in the long term, if it was up to me, what I would probably do is raise this thing up a little bit, but that's okay. We're just going to bring our bow up now. When the bow comes up, it's up to you what you want to do with that line of your tether. Some people are going to wrap it up. Some people are going to drop it back to the ground. We take our time, we go slow. I'm not a huge fan of heights, but I'm a huge fan of deer hunting, so I do what I have to do. I'm gonna drop this line down to the ground. I know it's not gonna be really waving in the wind too much because it's all the way down there. All right, what do we do when we're bow hunting? For me, I'm thinking about sitting still. I'm thinking about moving as little as possible, all right? So thinking about where your bow needs to be. Does it need to be here? Here. How am I sitting, holding my bow? Is my quiver on the bow? For me, the answer is probably yes. All right. Oh, we got a deer coming in. $10 yards right there. All right, so we got a deer coming in. We got to make our shot. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're ready for bow season. All right, let's say you just smoked a big monster. You're getting ready for season, and you want to know what you're going to do when you smoke a big monster. You see it down, it's dead, you feel 100% confident. All right, go ahead, get out of the tree. That's what you want to do. If you don't see it down, you're not 100% confident that thing's dead, you're going to want to wait. In almost every situation, I'd say wait. No harm is done by waiting a little bit longer to make sure that deer's expired, even if you can see it down in front of you. After you've waited that amount of time, let that bow come back down to the ground. Oh, make sure we don't get that caught on itself here. You want to let that bow rest nicely. No amount of excitement should speed that process up. All right, find my safety line. I like to hold this for some extra balance. Okay, we're gonna move the safety line down, but we're gonna keep it attached. Put it on the correct side of your head so that when you're moving off of your tree stand and onto your climbing sticks, you're still good to go. For me, I'm gonna grab a climbing stick, reach under, back to my bear hug around the tree. Make sure my feet are in place. Move down a little bit further. Now I can start getting my tree stand off the tree. A couple ways you can do this. You got that monster buck down and you're worried you're gonna scare off the deer. You're gonna put this thing on your back. Let's say you gotta get out of the woods as fast as possible. Just toss it nicely to the ground. I might aim for some nice bushes, but for now we're gonna put it on our back. We're gonna come down a little further, leave our safety line attached to the tree, of course. Loosen that puppy up right there. All we're trying to do is take this attachment point off. Okay? It doesn't have to be pretty, but it does have to be functional. So if it doesn't go on your shoulder, you're gonna have a problem. All right. I'm holding on to my climbing stick. I'm ready to detach from my safety. I am now detached from my safety line. and no longer going to rely on anything but my hands and feet to keep me on the tree. I'm going to detach this top stick. I'm going to detach this second stick. We made it out of the tree, and it looks like we got a big buck down. Look, it's this time of the season, before season, to get everything the way you want it to be. So if there's something about the way you climbed that tree that you don't like and you don't think is going to be working for you, then maybe it's time to change things up. If you like everything and maybe all you have to do is get a little bit quicker at it, you'll be good to go. So for me, I've got my attachment, my little pull rope for my bow here. It goes right around the seat, just like so. To keep everything together, using this D-ring on the attachment. Come on, there we go. Good. Flip everything upside down, place it. Now for these, what I usually like to do is put all the ones that don't have to stay attached, put them in a backpack. So I don't have my backpack with me, we're just gonna set them off to the side. All right, so one of the cool things with these Lone Wolf stands, they've got your place to put your sticks, a little spot right there for those bolts. Those sit like that. The next one can stack pretty nicely right on top of it. I took some like lacrosse tape and taped this up just to try to dampen some of that sound just a little bit. Now we're going to take this double aider. This is an XOP stick, but I like it because the double aider attaches to it pretty nicely. Just going to wrap it around the base there, put it over both of these bad Larrys, and attach it to the stand, and I'll show you how I'll do that. So once it's over top of both, all I do is I take this attachment here on the back. It's right here. It's meant for the stand to get hung up. Put it over that thing. Now, I can wrap this as many times as I need to for this thing to feel secure. I'll wrap it once for right now's purposes. And then we're just going to pull our excess. Should be good to go there. You can take your extra webbing, put it over the top. Same thing with the other one if we want to do that. All in all though, you should have something like this. Your pack can be attached. That's what I'd use this extra strap for, or a bungee cord. Bow season's coming up. I feel pretty confident. I may not be the fastest getting up the tree or getting down the tree, but I feel confident in my equipment. I feel confident that I'll have plenty of time, given that I make the right preparations. This is what my setup was all last season, and it was well worth it. I love the Lone Wolf 0.5. Before that, I had the XOP, and I like that too, but this thing is a lot lighter and easier to handle once you get up in the tree. If there's anything I didn't cover, it would be making sure that your equipment that you'd normally have with you is with you when you're training. Now, I'm not wearing a whole bunch of camo. As you can see, I've got a rangefinder, I've got my binocular harness, I've got my harness, I've got a hat. I'm not wearing a bunch of stuff because it's 100 degrees out today. And if I want to make sure nothing gets in the way, I can put on all my hunting stuff and do this same drill. But really, you need to be confident enough to get up in the tree, make your shot, and get down out of the tree. Doing it somewhere you're familiar with is going to help you get ready. Then if you're out in the middle of the woods before dawn, trying to get up a tree for the first time, making a lot of noise, your day may not go too great. Yeah, that's about it. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, subscribe, comment. All that stuff helps me out. If there's anything you do that's different from what I do prior to the season, or maybe you're using climbing sticks and a hang-on stand like I do, but you do it way better, tell me how. Help me out. That's it. I'll see you guys later.